Okay, I'm going to call this July 9th meeting of the Traffic Safety and Parking Order. And we will start with a Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Mr. Wu if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Since you are on the hot mic, could you give us a roll call, please?
Commissioner French,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Israelit,
Present.
Vice Chair Johnson,
Present.
and Chair Martos.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to approval of minutes from June 11th. Commissioners, hope you had a chance to review those minutes. And if there were any concerns or changes that you request to the minutes, please speak up now. Hearing none. Okay. Does anybody disapprove if we approve the minutes? Is there any dissenting votes? Okay, so let's just do this quick. By unanimous consent, the minutes from June 11th are approved. We'll move on to public comment. There are some people in the audience tonight, so I'll read this disclaimer. Members of the public may speak on any item that's not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for a future commission agenda may do so during this public comment period. The Ralph M. Brown Act, which is the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits this commission from acting on any matter that is not on our agenda for this evening. Do any of you want to speak on something that's not on the agenda? Okay, probably burial lay or something like that, right? Okay, good. And I will close public comment and we'll move on to discussion item 6A, Burial Lay Avenue traffic calming. Mr. Wong.
All right.
Through
We'll
chair,
get to that.
through chair, those public comments weren't related to any of the items on items.
Gotcha. So you want me to mention that we did receive 2 emails for public comment that were not related to item 6A. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wu. Appreciate that. And hopefully, yep, you got a chance to read those. I did. I think they were mostly directed for Mr. Wong's response, which I think he took care of. So I think we're good on those. Thank you, Mr. Wu. I appreciate that. There was one for burial lay, and I was going to wait for that one until after we hear the burial lay presentation. All right, Mr. Wong,
All right.
over to you.
Thank you, Chair Martos. Again, tonight we'll be talking about the Burial Lay traffic calming effort. And this is a section between Occidental and Elm. Tonight, we'll present you with the efforts to date by both us and the city of San Mateo. Obtain the commission's feedback as well as any additional community feedback. And then based on that feedback, we're hoping to move forward with a motion of support, move forward with the installation. So to give you some background on it, Burial Lay is a 2-lane collector roadway in the city, which is both in the city of San Mateo and Burlingame. It's got parking on both sides and a prima facie speed limit of 25 miles an hour. The center line dictates the northern section is Burlingame, the southern section is San Mateo. Last year, Burlingame staff received a request to consider traffic calming along the section between Elm and Occidental. When we collected the data, we found that the speeds in the westbound direction slightly exceeded over 30 miles an hour. So based on that, we shared this information because the roadway is shared with our colleagues in San Mateo. And we found that we can discuss implementing a project together. Based on it, the first step was to do some community outreach. I'll go on that the next slide, but both agencies, we have different ways of doing our implementing traffic calming. We typically bring our projects to you folks and we have a discussion. They do an a mailed out survey that's returned. So we decided to kind of meld both processes. So we covered all our bases and then see how the survey worked for us. And then moving along. So this is El Camino Real is on your right, and the border of Burlingame, San Mateo, I guess, and Hillsborough is Elm. So the section we're considering is the red section between Elm and Occidental. I'll talk a little bit more about this, why the section between Occidental and El Camino is highlighted in the next slide. Again, here's the section we are considering. Also last year, both staffs held a community meeting with the residents, and we noticed the residents on the section of Barrelay between Elm and Occidental. However, also at that meeting were in attendance the folks east of Occidental, between Occidental and El Camino, also showed up to that meeting. And they had expressed a desire to also have their roadway looked at for traffic calming, possibly speed cushions. So staff at the meeting, it was determined that speed cushions were the appropriate traffic calming element that we could install. What we also did was we would look at the other section of Barrelay between Occidental and El Camino and collect data there. So based on that, we did obtain data, and that data did not exceed the thresholds established by San Mateo. So we decided to remove that section of Barrelay between Occidental and El Camino for consideration at this time, and I'll move into that. The goal would be to, once that if supported and we put in the speed cushions, we would go ahead and monitor that section of Barrelay between Occidental and Elm to see what happened. If the speeds continue to decrease, stay the same, then we're fine. But if there was an increase, we can reconsider it for speed cushions at a later time. So based on the both the data that we got as well as the feedback from that community meeting, San Mateo staff then distributed a neighborhood survey for speed cushion installation. Again, this survey would not only help us determine the support for the speed cushions, it also outlined the process that would be used to determine whether the speed cushions were supported or not, as well as let folks know that the speed cushions would be located with an engineering survey. So part of it was the speed cushion could be in front of your property, but you had to be okay with that when you were completing the survey, because it wasn't like we're going to mix it, and it's going to be based on a survey as well as, or I'm sorry, an engineering site, but the cushions, we would try not to locate them in someone's, obviously, their driveway, so they pull in and out and constantly have that. Moving on to the survey results, 17 out of 21 were returned. There needed at least be half of those, so 10 of those needed to be returned in order for this survey to be valid. So we got 81%. For implementation, there needed 2/3 of those returned surveys supporting it. And again, we exceeded that with 82% of the residents supporting it with yes. So based on both the traffic data that we acquired as well as survey results, both agencies recommend that we move forward with the installation of speed cushions along the section from Elm to Occidental, as well as do some post monitoring of this once those speed cushions in, just to follow up and see if the other section may need improvements at a future point. So with that, I know we have some residents that were, moving ahead of myself. So with that, hope to get your feedback as well as the community's feedback on this, and then get the support to move forward with the installation. So with that, I know we have folks from the Barrelay that were part of the project, so they'd like to.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Okay, so for the public, what we're going to do are commissioners to ask questions about the project, and then I'll open it up to public comment. And when you're finished, you'll have about 3 minutes to make public comment. When you're finished, then I'll close public comment, and commissioners will add their comments and if there's any recommendations, and we'll move forward with a motion one way or the other, possibly. All right, so let me start with questions. Commissioners, any questions? Who wants to start? Not.
I just
Mr.
have a
Burrow?
quick question. It's really more about just further information. So the space between Elm and Occidental, how long is that drive?
I would have to measure it out. I do not know that offhand.
Again, I'm just curious, as we have further conversations about reducing traffic speed. And is there a minimum or maximum amount of space? Like, is there a minimum amount of space that you consider before you start putting in? So if it's a half a mile, a quarter mile, I'm just asking questions.
So you, through the chair, you can do it a couple ways. I mean, we've tried it. If you recall on Carmelita, when we installed them, we installed one per block. As usually those occur mid-block. Other agencies have installed two per block, a little more aggressive. So you need at least a block to install one.
That's all. I just curious about the distance between Elm and
Okay, Vice Chair?
Was there a reason, Mr. Wong, what do you account for the speed discrepancy from 2 blocks then through the rest of it? Is it because it's on that part's on a hill, or what do you think is going on there?
Through the chair, I mean, it just seems physics thinks that vehicles moving downhill will go faster, but we've seen in a lot of times like Hillside, Truesdale, the vehicles going uphill tend to be the faster ones.
Ah, okay.
They just want to keep up their speed.
So that's where the hill starts,
And that's where the hill starts.
Okay.
Starting between, just before Elm. It starts
just
going
before
up
Elm. It's
Pepper.
okay. And then just a process question. The survey from San Mateo went out to that entire strip of the entire expanse.
It went to the section of the residents along those 21 residents on Burial A between Elm and Occidental.
Okay. Oh, it did. Okay. But not the yellow strip.
No, those folks were not considered at this time in the
Okay.
strip.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Answering or ask.
All right.
She's so,
Commissioner,
you were so confused.
Commissioner
Deb.
Israelit?
I do have a question. So the distance that we're talking about is about 710 feet. I was able to use my app. So I just think that it's odd. I'm not saying that I'm not in agreement, but it's just we've never done speed cushions for such a short stretch. So are you saying that west of Elm, or is it Occidental? Which one?
Occidental.
West of Occidental.
West of Occidental, people aren't, were speeds measured beyond that stretch?
They were measured between Elm and Occidental. So west of Occidental, the next street, there's Pepper and then there's Elm. Here, let me,
So not west of Elm.
not west of Elm, that's Hillsborough.
Oh, that's Hillsborough. Okay. Okay. That was my question. It just seemed like a short little stretch. So that was one question. And then my other question is not really, it's about this, but not the specific project. But I just wanted to comment that I like what San Mateo did is sending out mail to every resident and collecting their feedback, because sometimes I think we only get a non-representative section of citizens who come to our meetings that comment on specific projects. I think it would be interesting to explore that as an option, unless it's written in our bylaws that that's not how we're going to do it.
Through chair.
Yep.
I mean, that, two things, the only residents that were noticed were those residents on Burial A between Elm and Occidental. So, but back to the survey part, yeah, that was part of the reason we wanted to see how effective this was on their part and get your feedback on that as well, because it would be a little more clear sometimes. I mean, and again, having the thresholds of how many respondents you get, right? Because sometimes if you just get 2 out of, like, say, 2 of the 21 were to notice, then we wouldn't move on, because then you kind of can gauge the community support at that point.
And interest. Yeah, I agree. I just think it might be interesting for future.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. Thank you.
No? Okay. So, yeah, Mr. Wong, so I'm assuming that other residents on Burial A did not get noticed because that part did not meet the speed warrants as measured by San Mateo, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Um, so it's kind of interesting that that very 700 feet of Burial A, there's a speeding issue. Is there a stop sign somewhere on Burial A before you get to that?
At Oc-
Somewhere on there? At Occidental's a
Oc-
stop sign? Okay. Okay. And so, all right, so I could see if somebody, if that's a downhill, and I should have driven it, but I didn't, but that's a downhill, then the speed would increase after that stop sign somewhere. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that was the only question I had. And then the right down the middle, I guess, is half is San Mateo, half is Burlingame. That's why we collaborated on it. Okay. All right, got it. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, I want to go to public comment. Okay, so the public, did anybody want to comment on this project? Go ahead, step up to the mic. If you wouldn't mind, give us your name and for the record, your name, and if you want to give us your address, that'd be great.
Absolutely. So my name is Sarah Lovelace. I live at 1812 Burial Way. I think that Andrew would probably like to stop hearing from me. I emailed Andrew in October of 2024 to help potentially kick off the project. And Andrew, thank you. You've been a really great partner along with your counterpart in San Mateo. I could give you a whole bunch of reasons like why speeding on the street is really dangerous right now with the number of cars that are being hit, with people and trucks speeding. My 6-year-old came with me. There's a lot of young kids on the street. But I also think that the street, I heard, you were all commenting on the length and that it is a short length. I think there's a couple interesting things that are happening. I think you would notice when you drive up and down the street. As Andrew noted, there is a stop sign at Occidental, and then there is not one that happens as you start to move into Hillsborough. The other really interesting thing about the street, it's obviously long and it's another throughway between El Camino and as you go up to 280 and people use it for that. But then I guess maybe a benefit of the folks between Occidental and Elm is that the street starts to narrow and you have more cars being parked there. So I think for people who are moving through that area, you get to Occidental, you hit a stop sign, and then you kind of get no stop signs. The road widens slightly, and you really see the speed increase uphill and downhill. I think that the data is also pretty clear with the community support, just from a quantitative perspective, but qualitatively talking to the residents and the neighbors, there is a lot of energy and excitement around the speed cushions being put in. I know Andrew talked about the community meeting that happened last year. It was very, very well attended. And we filled up an entire room at the rec center. The Burlingame Rec Center. We had to bring more chairs in. I would go, Andrew, what do you think? Like 65, 70 people? Yeah, like 65, 70 people. So it's something that the residents also feel really passionate about, both on the Burlingame and the San Mateo side. And if anyone has any questions, would obviously, of course, be happy to answer any, but a lot of really excited support for the speed cushions coming in.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Can I speak as a member of the public?
Oh,
Where do you live? And with respect to that location, you may have to,
Yellow line.
then you probably have to recuse yourself.
You have to use
I just
yourself.
was curious.
I don't think she can vote either, can she? No, you can't vote.
No,
I should have kicked you out of the room. I didn't know that.
even weird.
All right, you can't vote. Sorry. And all right, and you didn't comment, so we're all right. Yeah, unfortunately, Commissioner French, yeah, we have to follow those rules. Okay, any other public comments? Yes, please.
Hello, my name is Annie Cronin. I'm at 615 Burial A on the San Mateo side. My neighbor next door said, now you're going to go to the meeting. He's out of town right now. So the speed of people both going up and coming down is insane. And there was a policeman next door, a couple doors down one day, and I said, can you guys do something eventually? We're going to get speed bumps. And he was parking there. His car came down 50 miles an hour. But I'm on the San Mateo side, couple times is I'm driving making a left into my driveway. I'm coming here, cars come over on my left side and speed around me. That's how dangerous this is, because people think, hey, I'm going and up to Hillsborough or wherever. But our street is not that wide, but it also services all the way up to Hillsborough. And those people have a lot of construction going on, gardeners, all kinds of traffic on our neighborhood street that are speeding unnecessarily. And people, my old neighbor that used to live in Sarah's house had, you know, a lot of side view mirrors get swiped off and everything like that. So for the safety of the children and people, you know, my incident with people coming on my left side isn't in a traffic report, but it's dangerous and it's very serious. And I look forward to having these speed bumps. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Yeah, please step up.
Hi, I'm Christy Mendelson.
Send it down.
I'm at 1816 Barrel A. So I'm on the Burlingame side. And I just want to reiterate basically what they've said. There are so many incidents of, well, like she was talking about turning. I mean, most of the time, if I'm coming up, you know, I'm on the Burlingame side and I want to turn right into my driveway, I see behind me people going so fast and they even will honk at me because they're mad that they have to slow down. I mean, and this happens so many times. And also when you talk about the stop sign on Occidental, my office is downtown, so I walk back and forth daily, sometimes twice daily. And if you position yourself at that stop sign long enough, most of the time people don't even stop. I mean, a lot of people, they use it as maybe they even hesitate, but sometimes not even at all. So they're already going at a pretty good speed. And then once they head up, like she said, it does start to widen. And I think that's part of the reason that the lower part all the way to El Camino, you didn't get the same results because it's so much narrower. And if you know, there's a lot of traffic on both sides, so you're always having to stop to let other cars through. So I think that obviously makes people go slower as a rule. But I've had, the last few years, I had 2 cars totaled, just parked in front of my house. Just had to pick up, I have a little sports car now that I try not to even leave on the street. I left on the street maybe a couple hours. And because a lot of the trucks that come by very quickly, they throw up stuff and I see it happen, you know, flies all over the place. A rock must have hit it, cracked my whole windshield. So I just had to, you know, get that fixed today. My husband's had 2 or 3 incidents of the rearview mirrors being torn off. Happened to me a couple times. So yeah, it's just an ongoing worry for everybody because it's hazardous. You know, and they're worried about, I don't have young children anymore. You know, the children that are there, you know, you an alert constantly because you just don't know going to be flying at night. It's sometimes really bad. I'm roaring up and down the street late at night. That's when my cars were totaled. So anyway, I hope you move forward with it because I think a lot of people will be happy.
Right. We thank you for your feedback. Appreciate it. Okay. Does anybody else want to talk on 6A Burial A Avenue traffic calming? No. Okay.
One public.
Hmm?
This.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. And we did have one, thank you. We did have one email with regard to the Burial A project. Sounded like this person was in favor of it as well. I saw the email was redacted. Can I say the name, Mr.?
I don't think we're supposed to.
Don't need to. Okay. All right.
But what they.
All right. All right. Anyway, it was a person on Burial A also. If you can do it quickly.
Yeah, it's me again, about the notice. And I think maybe you didn't get a lot of response because we got them pretty late. It was only like 3 days ago, and I think a lot of people are gone. So, maybe your response wasn't what
Okay.
you would expect. So
Okay.
That just,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yep. Okay. All right. No other public comments. I'll close public comment. I'll go to the commissioners' comments. Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
Israelit?
thank you. It sounds like speed is a problem. And the neighbors are, majority of them are extremely in favor of putting in the speed cushion. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But it was just kind of interesting. Like, I just wanted to, it was more curiosity, like why these 2 blocks? And part of it is because Hillsborough starts and the road widening and the stop sign, and then people speed up. I used to live on Hillside, and there's a stop sign at Vancouver. And we lived right there, and people would stop at that stop and then fly up to 280.
Yep.
So lived that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other comments?
So I'll just,
Brown?
I always appreciate the information that the engineers give us, when we're looking at traffic and traffic flow. And I certainly appreciate the public comment. I guess my question would be, and maybe we haven't determined this yet, but in that, again, 710 feet, are we looking at 1 or 2, or how many speed bumps are we considering? And maybe you don't know that yet. I'm just curious.
Through chair, I
Mm.
don't know, but roughly in that section there, it's 2 blocks, right? Bisected by Pepper. So at a minimum, maybe 2, but we'll let the study go through with that.
Okay.
Yeah, just,
Right.
I'm
Yep.
actually pleased with the public involvement and public support. And really, thank you very much for coming, because it does make a difference when you show up with your voice. And the neighborhood, you live there. So we're listening to you. And then also with the mail-in survey, it seemed like there was overwhelming support for this as well. So this seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Let's see. I read through the report and I really didn't have any other concerns. Yeah, you give me that look. Actually, I thought it was a very good report, and I think the project is warranted. So I don't have anything further, and I will entertain a motion from one of the commissioners.
I'm going to let the junior commissioners.
Oh, sure. I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right. So the motion made by Vice Chair Johnson to approve the project, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Mr. Wu, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Israelit,
Aye.
Vice Chair Johnson,
Aye.
and Chair Martos.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. And Mr. Wong, so we'll look forward to a future project that'll give us a little more insight into where those speed cushions might be.
Sure, we'll coordinate with San Mateo, as well as let the neighborhood know, what moving forward, what it is. We have some of them, but we'll be putting in the rubberized speed cushions. So
Very good. Very good. All right. Thank you. We appreciate you being here tonight and sharing with us.
Oh,
We're kind of done with this topic. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah. Yeah, you could talk with the traffic engineer about that, right? Yeah, that's kind of out of our jurisdiction. All right, we'll move on, Mr. Wong. With item 6B, the Samtrans temporary bus stops on California Drive.
through chair.
Also another good report. I'll comment. Go ahead.
We're bringing this item back from last month. We've made some tweaks, and we've also brought back the same team, well, almost the same team. Mr. Jeff Rubendahl will be making the presentation once again. We'll make him presenter, and we will also have Nicolette Tomale on the call as well. She's with Samtrans, missing Millie.
And it looks, Nicolette was able to make it, so good. Hey, everybody, nice to see you all again. I've got the PowerPoint. I'll go ahead and share my screen and kind of kick us off. And then, Nicolette, did you want me to give the upfront stuff, or did you want to give an update to the folks?
I can do the first half, and then if you want to talk about the designs.
It looks like I need to be authorized to share my screen. There it is. Oop. All right, everybody see the screen okay?
Yes.
Take us away.
Great. I'm Nicolette Tolmy. I'm a senior planner at Samtrans, and I mostly work on bus stops. I unfortunately missed the meeting last month, but I'm here to present on our detour and bus stop designs and the changes that we've made since last month. We have a pretty quick agenda. I'll just very high level, mostly just a reminder of what we're here for and some background and context. And then Jeff will get into the details on how we responded to some of the comments from the last commission meeting. So purpose of tonight is we really want to get some final comments on the designs of these 3 intersections. And hopefully after this meeting kind of have the consensus to start thinking more about implementation. So we are getting as close to final in the designs as possible and would really like to hear any comments that are just lingering in your minds, or if you're seeing anything, feel free to speak up about anything you might not feel super comfortable about, or anything that might come in the future as a bar when we're thinking about implementation. So just quick reminder of why we're doing this. The Caltrans project on El Camino Real is about 3 miles through the city of Burlingame. We think that the construction timeline will be around 3 years. It's currently happening, and we are currently running this detour along San Mateo Drive and California Drive. The construction impacts the roadway all day long during weekdays. And just a reminder that this is Samtrans's biggest and core route ECR that sees about 10,000 and more daily boardings. This does provide as a huge connection throughout all of the peninsula. So this is just a really important project for us and all of our riders. And then just a reminder of what we're speaking about specifically today. We do have a bunch of bus stops that we're using in the detour, but there are 3 on the northern segment of El Camino Real, or sorry, of the California Drive that don't have an accessible sidewalk on the northbound direction. And that's at California and Truesdale, Rosedale, and Grove. And so Jeff will get into the details of how we're designing around that issue.
All right, thank you. So the designs have been revised to take based on input we've received from you all, as well as some additional assessments that we've been doing, internal conversations with city staff as well as Samtrans. Just a quick summary of some of the high level feedback that we heard from you all was an encouragement or a request to do additional crossing improvements, so something like an RFB or other crossing improvements. To also think through how bikes may or may not be able to access the northbound bike lane because of these new bus stops. There's some concern about how and where cyclists would come into and out of that lane at these intersections. Specifically at a couple locations at Truesdale, there was the concern about access to the police department site, as well as the left turn pocket that's there, and we're also talking about where the bus stops would be. They would both now be on the northern side of the intersection. And then at Grove, we had a discussion about what a in-lane bus stop would do during a congestion, and how that may be cause some issues or exacerbate the existing peak period congestion in the southbound direction. We talked about a bunch of other stuff too, which we can kind of revisit as a group as well. So we have a similar slides from last time that kind of walk through each location, but really wanted to start with the cartoon that we showed last time that shows the rendering of kind of where and how these bus stops could look like, minus the purpleness. That's purely just to show that that is the area where somebody would be waiting. This is at Rosedale. It's a picture of Rosedale with a rendering of what that northern stop could look like. It has not been updated to include additional features such as the RFB that we are proposing at each location shown on the right. This is an example from a different city, but it also includes a raised concrete median island in that installation, which is something we are also investigating and proposing here. It would not be exactly where the RFB post would be, but it would be before that, so that it provides that place where basically something in the buffer that would provide a vertical vertical element that somebody riding their bike or driving their car would see that and encounter that before they made contact with the post itself. So first location to revisit is Truesdale, and kind of moving on. So this is just a street view image of what's out there today. There's the existing left turn pocket that turns left onto Truesdale. There's this raised triangular island. In the northbound direction there, like Nicolette mentioned, there is no sidewalk, but there's a striped bike lane as well as a striped bike lane in the southbound direction with green markings through the intersection. This is the revised plan, which kind of looks very similar to last time, but however, it is showing both bus stops on the northern side of the intersection with the changes all highlighted here. Well, not necessarily changes. These are the elements, some of which are changes. Number one is pointing to the northbound bus waiting area that we've been talking about. That's largely unchanged, but the treatments leading up to it, which is number 5, would be a raised median island, whether it could be a rubber curb system, like a modular system. It could be actually formed concrete, could be asphalt. We're working with the city and Caltrans and to figure out what the most appropriate kind of material would be there. But the intent is that provides some sort of vertical separation between oncoming roadway users and the RFB post themselves. The other change on at this location is we are retaining the northbound left turn pocket. So the configuration of the roadway for the police station access is largely unchanged, with the exception of providing a space for buses to pick up and drop off folks before the intersection. Maybe I'll go through all 3 and then we can kind of revisit them location by location, but happy to pause if I say something that has an immediate question from you all. Next location at Rosedale. Again, this is a street view image showing the similar configuration with a striped bike lane in both directions. There is parking before and after the intersection with red curb next to driveways, the intersection, and the hydrant there as well. The changes to this one are very similar to the Truesdale in the sense that we're showing a proposed island, which is a little bigger here because of the available space and the fact that the bus stops are on both kind of far side stops of Rosedale. We're showing the RFB system in both proposing one on both sides of the street with a flasher facing both directions. So regardless of which direction somebody is moving, there are 2 flashers that they can see, one on their left and one on their right, which is pretty typical, as well as a push button to activate it for folks that are crossing from Rosedale or from the bus stop as well. These are, again, just highlighting some of those elements, the buffer area identified number 2, the buffer island as well, and the crosswalks that we talked about last time. Last one at Grove. This is where the bike facilities are no longer striped bike lanes, but they are shared lanes where there are sharrows in the roadway. And I believe there are some green markings and leading up to it, but not actually at the intersection. So this is more of a constrained approach where we're retaining the southbound shared lane. We are able to stripe in a northbound 4 to 5 foot bike lane for the northbound direction. These would be in-lane stops again, and this one has a little bit more of an impact to kind of temporary parking loss while these stops are active. But this also does include the RFB and the buffer island that we mentioned as well. Okay, next slide. This is just kind of identifying them again. So really that's kind of a quick run through of the changes. Happy to talk through any questions you all might have. As we have had a conversation with Caltrans to discuss kind of the logistics, some of the proposed materials, the configurations, still ongoing conversations. Got some children in the background. Hopefully it's not okay for you all. And then, we're still hoping to have something installed by the end of the summer, late summer, early fall. One thing also we didn't mention last time, I think except in the discussion, where there isn't a flat concrete or asphalt laydown area for where people get onto and off of buses in the southbound direction, that there will be some landscaping and modest, paving work or concrete work, so that when the bus does pick up or drop off folks, people aren't standing in bushes or having to walk through bushes. There will be a flat area that is accessible for folks getting onto and off the buses. And with that, I'll pause and happy to answer any questions or clarify any points that you all may have.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Commissioners, are there questions on this project? Commissioner Israelit.
I apologize. I missed last month's meeting. So this is the first time I'm seeing it, but so if I can just step back one step. So we are taking away parking for short stretches of space so that we can utilize this landing zone for the bus stop, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we don't have to warrant, we don't have to have community meetings prior to removing that parking. I'm sorry if this was already discussed, but I know when we read curb stuff, it's oftentimes a big community input meeting.
Sure. And through the chair, this would be temporary removal of the parking space just to accommodate this. Would be almost like some of the impacts that we're doing on El Camino. Again, this,
Got it.
sorry, Ms. Parr, this is all generated because of the shift of the buses off El Camino onto California.
I was just, asking, not, just curious. And then my other question is, it's hard for me to tell, but is this accessible for wheelchairs? Are there ADA allowances for people who are handicapped that they handle this?
Yes, these are laid out so that they are ADA and PROAG compliant, and we're working with Samtrans bus operators to make sure that the space does allow for the deployment of ramps to get folks on the bus ramps to get folks who are maybe in a wheelchair or of other mobility issues to be able to use those ramps to get onto and off of the buses.
I figured you'd probably taken care of that, but I just had to ask. And lastly, again, I might have missed this discussion, and I apologize if you guys have already talked about it, but I'm just a little bit surprised about the more permanent hardscaping, with the cement. You're talking about doing a cement landing strip or median or island. I know when we do traffic calming in the city, a lot of times we do something more temporary, our quick builds, and then we wait forever for something more permanent. and for something that we know is going to be in use for maybe 3-4 years. I'm just a little bit surprised that something so permanent is being built that would be harder to remove when this construction in El Camino is finished.
That's a good point, and that was more of in the original one we were talking about very temporary materials, and there was a discussion of is that too temporary or is that going to be a maintenance issue? So we've in conversations with Caltrans, we still haven't decided exactly what the materials themselves would be. It could be a concrete island. It could be like a concrete island that just sits on the asphalt and that's doweled in. So there's a whole spectrum of temporary versus permanent. The idea being that whatever is done is not going to necessarily be removed and left as a worse than it is today before anything's been put in. So exactly what the materials are and how it's installed and removed later is something we'd work through as part of the final design process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Israelit. Other questions?
Yeah, and maybe I missed the meeting as well, so I have a couple of questions too. Are all of these planned for just northbound bus stops, or are they north and southbound bus stops? I'm just trying to figure out how it plays out.
Yeah, so thank you for asking the question and happy to go through this. So in the southbound direction, there is a proposed bus stop at all three of these locations. And these bus stops, because there is a sidewalk, the bus would come to the curb and use the existing sidewalk as the place where they pick up and drop off passengers. So it's a southbound stop for all three locations proposed. In the northbound direction at these three, there is no sidewalk. So we are proposing this bus waiting area in the street. So there is a bus stop proposed for both directions at all three intersections, but the configuration of it is different because there's sidewalk on the city side. There's no sidewalk on the rail side.
Okay.
And I
now-
just to add that currently we're able to serve the southbound direction bus stops. And right now, as we speak, people who are wanting to get off at these three intersections in the northbound direction are being directed to go all the way to Millbrae Transit Center, transfer to a southbound ECR bus, and then get off at one of the southbound stops at these intersections.
Understood. Okay, I have a much better picture now of what you guys are proposing here, so thank you.
Okay, Vice Chair Johnson?
Just two things, and one is for Mr. Wong. On the parking, have the residents in that area been notified that this plan is coming, or what is our responsibility there?
Through Chair, we haven't noticed them yet because we weren't sure what extents were. We can start to let them know once we get support for this, and then we can move to that next step and send out notices and walk them through.
Okay. And not 24 hours before it happens. Other question I had, the other question that came up last time was around Burlingame Police Department, and I'm assuming their concerns have been addressed in this new proposal.
Through Chair, previously the bus stop was relocated to the north side of Truesdale, so that that allowed us to, as
Okay.
Mr. Rubendell, we can keep the northbound left turn lane. Some of the other concerns that they express, aren't generated. Well, they're generated by the El Camino Real renewal project and just the amount of traffic now it's going down. But that's something that we only have a couple streets to detour that on, so that's kind of something that we'll all have to work with.
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner French?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention two things. So thank you for the proposal, the revised proposal. I think you've made it very clear for me to quickly remember what we discussed and what you've changed, and that's really helpful for us to make a quick decision. So appreciate you listening and taking our input. And then just for Dr. Israel, it was me who actually gave the feedback about, I had watched at the bottom of Barrelay, not Barriole, Barrelay and El Camino, when they first put up those temporary white sticks, they were being knocked down like all the first morning, and they were so flimsy. And I proposed the feedback that we needed something more temporary if it was going to be for 3 to 4 years. So that was the why behind it. Got it.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Yeah. I did have a question, and now that you're on this slide, about the buses stopping. Okay, so is it painted bus stop there in that green section where the bike lane is as well?
Sure.
Yeah, but it does.
Partially.
I'm
It
worried.
is a shared bus bike space. So this is consistent with Samtrans's own design guidelines related to treating bike lanes through bus stops.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just want to make sure the bikers understand that there could be a bus parked there. Yeah, okay. I do see bus written there. Okay, so that's good. That was the only question I had. I do appreciate the consideration that was given to the comments that were made last time. I do see some changes in the design. I think we had a gap. I'm assuming that the gap where people were crossing over California to eastbound on Truesdale to get into the bike lane has been changed to just crosswalks, right? There was a
There is still a break. I mean, the only physical element that would prevent somebody from safely exiting the bike lane and crossing Truesdale is the island of whatever material we decide and the physical RFV post itself. So there is space, just like there is today, where a cyclist could make that decision to turn left when it is safe to
Yeah,
do
and
so.
that's fine. I think the last time the break was directing
It was
them to
more deliberate.
the middle of the intersection, which I wasn't real keen on. I wanted them to at least take the crosswalk before they got over to the eastbound side of California there, and it seems like with that island is actually going to force that issue. So I'm good with that. Okay, so yeah, we thank you for the consideration of all the concerns that we had last time, and any other comments? Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Israelit.
I have one last quick question. So you kind of confirmed what I was going to ask. So the bike lane will sometimes have a bus stopped in it. And I'm assuming it's because there's just no other space. There's no other way around it. And that's how it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the southbound direction.
In
In the northbound direction, we're able to keep enough space so that cyclists can be in their own space, even while people are waiting for a northbound bus or northbound buses picking up or dropping off folks.
Oh, I did have one other question. So go to Grove, where we added on the northbound side. Yeah, so that's a Sharrow, and then it goes to a bike lane, and then does it go back to a Sharrow? I think so, right?
I think the graphic might actually be old. I believe there is marked bike lanes in the northbound direction here now.
Through the chair.
This is- yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
Okay.
Northbound, there's a continuous bike lane. It's in the southbound direction where at Mills, it narrowed up, and we had the option of bringing them onto Laguna as an alternate route. So in the northbound, there is a continuous bike facility.
Painted.
Just north, painted.
Okay.
Just north of Broadway, all the way to Murchison, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an oversight on my part. This screenshot from Google is before that northbound bike lane was striped.
Okay. Well, that's why I was questioning it.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Don't use those old Google pictures.
Narrowing.
All right.
It's a Sharrow.
Through chair.
Go ahead.
Sharrow is, you see the markings that are there right before the intersection. It's like bike legend with two hats. That's indicating that bikes are to share the roadway, or cars and bikes are to share the
It's a sharing.
Sharrow.
It's a words for everything.
If Jeff, if you can go back to that Truesdale side, I just want to point out one other item. So for the bicyclists, you can see through the intersection, it's hatched. That's the conflict area that you're aware of that we have. If you look on the on the bus stop, it also has that. So it's indicating to the bicyclists that those are paying attention, that is a facility that's going to be crossed.
Well, says bus in there too, and I think that's a big indicator, and that's what
And
I'm looking for.
Last comment.
Yep.
Did we talk about having a flashing light that would indicate when the bus is going into the bike lane? Did we discuss that last week or last?
No.
Because I wouldn't see that until I'm on it on the bike. You know how you have like the temporary arrows that light up when the road's narrowing, for example, on El Camino? Could we have something that flashes to say like, bus, bike lane, caution? I'm just thinking out aloud. If I were biking.
I would imagine through the chair, the buses typically will signal as they're going over if they have to, and potentially, depending on the drivers, they may pause and let the bicycles pass. But yeah, I mean, that would be something that's not used. I haven't seen anything like that where it's because how would you activate or?
Well, and I've talked about this before. When you're cycling in other places, there's an etiquette where all the bikes are allowed to sit at the top of the row, and that doesn't happen in Burlingame. So I'm wondering if we could look at just maybe painting like that the bikes get to sit at the very top. See where the number 2 is? Like at the top of that green line. So then the buses can come up behind them. But
this would not be, a bicyclist would not be stopping in this direction. They would continue through unless there was a flashing beacon and a pedestrian crossing the street.
But what if somebody's crossing out onto that road from Truesdale? They might have to stop.
Like a car pulled out in front of them to cut them out?
So, so you're indicating that a bicyclist going southbound, just to try to clarify, and someone crossing Truesdale? How would they see it?
Yeah, the cyclists traveling southbound on California would just go straight through.
Okay,
They wouldn't have there's a stop control on Truesdale, so they would have to wait for the cyclist.
I see. Okay. Anyway, just signage was a comment that came
Okay,
after I heard everybody else's comment.
all right.
Thank
All right, very good. Thank you. Any other comments?
Well, just real quick.
Yeah.
Following up on
Go ahead.
that, I mean, I actually had the same thought too, but I just had so many other questions. I didn't want to burden, but I mean, theoretically, you could have a stationary sign that doesn't necessarily flash when a bus is there, but just caution, caution shared bus bike lane or something.
Temporary shared bus.
Yeah, just as a heads up.
Through chair, but I
Mhm.
think what would happen is if hypothetically, if there were a bus in the bus lane and a cyclist coming southbound and if they didn't wait and they attempted, to pass the bus, the person at Truesdale would still, no different than the condition it is now, they would still have to make sure it's clear with a bike lane now before it could be very well be a southbound vehicle too, which would be.
Yeah.
So before they are to make the right or left turn onto California, they would have to make sure it's clear.
I just meant prior to the bus stop, just having like a sign that just alerts cyclists that the space coming up is shared with the bus, that a bus might be pulling over.
Like,
I mean, not whether people are turning or not, just like a heads up, because they might not be familiar with.
I mean, it's not really that different than any bus pullout that's gonna pull over and block the shoulder, right? So, and that's
Or,
like any more than any other.
but they don't
lane.
pull over in a bike lane, do they?
If the bike lane is next to the curb, then they absolutely do.
They do. Okay.
And
Yeah.
here,
I didn't, I'm not a big cyclist. Okay.
not in Europe,
That's it.
where bikes.
No, that's good. No, good. Thank you for the questions and comments. Any other comments?
No.
No? Okay, Mr. Wong, you want a motion, right?
Through chair, did you do public comment just to check?
Good question.
Just in case I see one individual.
Not on the agenda, I know. So, Mr. Wu, is there any public comment? No emails, nothing? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, we do have one person in the audience. Got wrapped up here. Okay, very good. So then, we'll move on to a motion. Is there a motion from the floor? Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Commissioner French to approve the project. Is there a second?
I seconded.
All right. Motion to approve by Commissioner French, seconded by Commissioner Israelit. Mr. Wu, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner French,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Israelit,
Aye.
Vice Chair Johnson,
Aye.
and Chair Martos.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries 5-0. So we'll move forward. It's awesome. All righty. Thank you very much for the presentation and all the hard work, and again, for considering the feedback of this commission. All right, we'll move on to South Rollins.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
South Rollins Road Streetscape Project.
Have to give me a sec. I think I
Yeah,
logged out. Oh, they're back.
Oh, we've seen this before too. Yeah.
You have.
oh, also another well-written report. Mr.
Yes.
Long. I appreciate it.
Oh,
What's going on?
We all appreciate it. Yeah.
What's going on?
all right. Thank you, Chair Martin.
I think it was because it was such a long conversation last time, if I recall. We spent a lot of time on this one.
Yes, we did.
All right. Thank you, Chair Martos. Again, we're revisiting, just give you another look at, but the South Rollins Streetscape Traffic Calming update. As you know, as we talked about last week also, talked about many things. With Vision Zero, Rollins Road was identified as part of the youth-based high injury network. That was part of the Vision Zero. And what we talked about last time, when we talked about this project, we acquired almost $500,000 to do improvements from the Measure A and Measure W funds to address the issues. And at that meeting, and also at the community meeting we've had regarding this project, a number of community concerns, preservation of on-street parking, slowing down speed, as well as commission feedback from it regarding potential stop signs, wondering why bulb outs were used instead of, I'll go over these these concerns and the feedback you provided in detail later on in the presentation, point by point, but just wanted to kind of get you guys into it and remind you of the project. Again, South Rollins, we're calling this project, so it's south of Broadway all the way to city limits at Humboldt. The improvements we'll be talking about, and this is something we may still consider for the last discussion, but we have quick build medians here. They're built with, these are rubberized curbs with delineators on the inside just to give it some verticality for folks to see. The other, if you can see it here, this little black and yellow item here, it's just hardening the center line. And then lastly, the quick build bulb out, which has those skinny little delineators coming up, as well as a painted area. Again, when you look at these improvements, what they do is again, we've seen this on California. It forces the vehicles to slow down when they make the turn. They can no longer cut the corner and carry speed through there. The quick build bulb out on the southbound direction also does the same thing, but importantly, I mean, it's for pedestrians. It gives them a little bit more space, clear space, just like AB 413 provides, but this does it and pushes the vehicles out a little bit. So these are the quick build traffic calming treatments that are being done along the corridor. Just wanted you to get an idea of what you're looking at when you see, well, the next slide will show it. So we're starting at the northern section. Broadway is to your left, and then you have, moving left to right, you have Rollins Road. We're just merely enhancing what's out there now. There is a bike facility, but we're adding the green backing to it just to highlight it a little bit more. As well as you see in the brown there, it'll give a little bulb out to that lane line there, just to force vehicles to come in there to go rather than have this big open space when they cross Cadillac. So as I indicated, hopefully it's simplified. A are the medians, just showing you the location. So we're moving south of south of Broadway now, and there's 3 of them installed along there. These are just the median, temporary quick build median islands that you saw in that earlier slide. Sorry, I go quick. I was trying to simplify it.
The little caterpillar things?
No, sorry. I try to give the A's. This is what A is. B
A.
will be that, and you'll see as we move down, you'll see a combination.
Oh, because they're listed as 1 on here versus A. That's why I got confused.
Oh, don't worry about those. Are from the design.
Oh,
Wait, I'm
okay.
sorry. I should have pointed out next to the photo. These are the call outs that will
Okay.
simplifying it. And so here we have Toy on Rollins. You can see all 3 treatments, A, B, and C will be done here. It's harder to see. That's why I try to call it out in the picture. This is an always stop controlled intersection. And just making sure that we address your feedback. This is one of the intersections you indicated that maybe we can roll back and not do a bulb out here and some of these treatments because it's an always stop. We discussed this with the designer, and the reasoning is trying to keep the corridor consistent with these improvements. Since every intersection down the corridor looks like this. It has the bulb out. It has the hardened center line. It has that. But we understood that, they understood that this is an always stop, which is a little different than the others. So they're flexible on some of it. However, they would like to make sure that the hardened center line and the island remain to address that particular issue.
This is the corner that, I'm sorry, this is the corner where 7-Eleven is.
Correct.
Mhm.
7-Eleven
Oh.
right here in the bottom right-hand corner.
When you say ABC,
All 3 of these treatments, A, B,
okay,
and C are being.
B, okay.
Mhm.
Can you go back one more time?
Sure, sorry.
I'm trying to figure out where A goes.
Again, I'm sorry, the A with the red line, A is in the median.
Okay, okay.
B is just a little bit,
Tapers.
yeah, the little taper, and then C is the bulb out.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
No worries.
I'm just not catching it very quickly tonight.
Okay.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Imagine looking at the plans if we didn't have this. So again, if you look here, that's what we're doing. We've got the median islands, the little nub out in the northbound direction, the bulb out. What I'd also like to point out is that all the side streets, high visibility crosswalks where they don't currently exist.
So that would be D.
That would,
Yeah.
Sorry. A little humor tonight.
all right.
Who said?
As you note, what happens with the median, easier to see, well, maybe easy. In each direction, it's 11-foot travel lane. And then at these, where it kind of chokes it down, but it drops it down to 10 feet in each direction. So it narrows up the road, the median island, just by taking a foot on each side. So that's the benefit of that as well. Again, West Winchester, Corbett, Francisco, same treatments. And at Marin, and so at Oak Grove, we have our first and only traffic circle at this intersection. It's also always stop controlled. And the island itself in the center, the curb there isn't a 6-inch curb, it's a mountable curb. So it actually widens up the road, but if you go over it, you'll feel no different than the roundabout that's in there on California Drive. See a puzzled face.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to.
I just,
figure out what-
the oval shape makes it really odd for a southbound car to, I mean, it's really quite like a little hairpin turn.
And they should, it'll further emphasize that it's always stop control now, so they will have to stop and then proceed through it. They're no longer traveling at speed, right? And
Right.
it's hard to see, these little markings are always stop or stop signs.
Yep.
And there's no crosswalks there because there's really nowhere to go.
Right, right.
There's nowhere,
Can
there's
you
no
point,
people that are crossing that.
can you point out the stop signs again? I'm sorry.
Sorry, these little black marks,
Ah, okay, gotcha.
those are the stop.
Okay, all the way around.
Yep, all the way around.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's just weird.
So that's already.
It looks strange. I know. It looks strange to me, but
The run-
I actually like it.
And
I shouldn't say that.
It's,
to further,
My,
we have shared this,
That's it.
we share this with CCFD, so they're
Mhm.
they're aware of it. And this is what we worked out with them.
Who are
Who's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Oh,
they
Central
don't-
County
County
Fire
Fire
Department.
Department.
and they don't have an
They can-
issue.
We've tried to cater it as much as we can from the fit. That's why the interior, it's mountable. So if they have to go through it faster, they're able to roll through.
Okay. When you say interior is mountable, would you explain that in layman's terms?
Hello?
So normally, if you think of a curb, it's 6 inches.
Yeah.
right? So these are only a couple inches high.
Okay.
When you go over, you can roll over no different than going over your driveway apron. It's something like that where you can roll over it.
Okay.
You know you're going over it. But if you go over, it's not going, like you hit a 6-inch curb. So you can roll over and know it. So that's why not everyone's going to roll through it and feel that bump. Like you can say, well, people just cut across it. They won't cut across it.
And how
Oh.
wide is that flare? I mean, it's fairly wide? I mean, if a fire truck were to go over that, they're not gonna throw firefighters off the back of the truck?
No, and that's part of, I mean, it's,
Okay.
we have this in the
Mm.
roundabout as well as the traffic circle at Larkspur Linden.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, we interrupted. Go ahead.
Or
It's just so much.
Very intriguing,
Uh,
yeah,
ask-
intriguing project. Go ahead.
And Trenton and Dwight, again, we listened and we didn't change what was working, but we did enhance it. Again, same treatment throughout the corridor, which right now these are painted white hatched marks. They'll be painted in a methacrylate, a different color. I think we've been using the brown in on a lot of the projects, including Occidental. So we'll continue that.
What color?
A beige like that.
Just check. Does it match what was already done further on up the street?
Currently what's been done is just white hatch marks inside that area. So if you go here, it's a white line bordering this bulb out, and then there are just hatch marks. You see it
Mhm.
there on Chapin where we've used that improvement. But if you go to Occidental, where we've done the improvements. It looks similar to this. It's a little nicer. It makes it look more like an island as opposed to more striping.
No, the reason I'm asking about the color coding is if it's consistent, then people learn it, like especially
Oh.
younger.
Throughout the city.
Yeah, so I'm sure you know that.
Well, we're just trying to find out which is the best color, but we're extending what we did on Occidental here using that, so.
And that's all paint, right? There aren't any vertical
There are
posts or anything?
some of those
Okay.
posts that are along there too, just to make
Okay.
sure people see it and don't cut it, right? Because
Okay, yeah.
it's just the methacrylate, it's flat.
Yeah.
Again, moving down the corridor, just median aisle.
Hmm.
And then we get to Victoria, Burlingame Avenue. Again, we've enhanced what's there, but left it pretty much the way it is. So with that, like I said, we'd get back to those community concerns and the feedback you provided. Preservation of on-street parking. About 5 on-street parking spaces are removed as part of this project, but many of those are because they're close to the intersection, so they would be removed anyway for AB 413. So we tried our best to preserve as much as we could. Slowing down traffic speeds. The entire project is a traffic calming project, so these changes, the goal is to reduce speeds along the corridor. During the commute hours, it's extremely difficult to back out of our driveways. While there's not a single improvement that's aimed at that one, the combination of the always stop sign will make a break in the traffic for some folks, as well as slowing down the corridor will make it better than it is now. Improved safety for side street pedestrian crossing. We now have the bulb outs and the median islands to reduce cars turning fast, and we have the crosswalks, marked crosswalks there now. Median should not inhibit driveway access. Efforts were put forth not in the design not to do that. And speed bumps are not favorable traffic calming measure. Not necessarily that, yeah, we might agree with that on this one. However, it's also an arterial. We're not putting speed cushions on arterial because of emergency response times. The commission's feedback, desire for a stop sign between Toyon and Humboldt. Always stop now at Oak Grove, which is funny. It is the exact midpoint between those two streets. Oops. Bulb out versus speed humps. We just talked about the speed cushions. We wouldn't put on Rollins because it's an arterial. The visibility concerns of rubberized curves versus something more permanent. There are reflective elements in the rubberized curbs as well as the delineator itself. The top couple inches, there's reflective tape on there so you can catch it at night. And they're in colors, well, white as opposed to a darker color. Correlating the data for the corridor and its orientation with Vision Zero. It has been, it's part of it. I mean, the reason this project is part of within Vision Zero. It's addressing some of the concerns there. As well as the next to last one, the possible speed limit reduction. This is one of the roadways that's being considered. The commission floated the idea of having no traffic circle at Burlingame Avenue and Victoria Road. That was agreed upon. We kept it as is. And again, the last one, improved safety for side street pedestrian crossing. We have those crosswalks, marked crosswalks now, as well as those other elements. So with that, again, we brought this back to you because this project has been awarded by City Council. They made a request to bring it back to the commission just so you guys, if you had any additional feedback, but to make sure to confirm your comments, previous comments had been addressed. So we can take some minor comments if you have any additional ones, but we're going to start construction anytime now because they awarded it and we're just waiting for our project manager, Mr. Yang, to return from vacation. He'll get it started. So with that, we'll take any questions and listen to any feedback.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wong.
Sorry.
Commissioner Israelit. It's okay.
Well, I missed
You don't need to be
this
sorry.
presentation.
Always appreciate your questions and comments.
So, okay. I don't really understand why we need to have those B things because the A things are pretty gargantuan. is it just to create a taper? You can't have the A things taper themselves. I just think it would be nice to have one uniform piece.
I think so that taper allows us to extend beyond the crosswalk. Because if you look here, we couldn't put this into the crosswalk that's here. So just to further have folks not enter the crosswalk and not to impact pedestrians crossing, that's what that little bit's for. If what will happen is A will be back here. You can see my cursor.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leaves folks still able to roll over the crosswalk and cut the crosswalk. So this just adds a little something more that's not too intrusive to do that.
I don't question the need for it. I'm just surprised they don't make like a ship shaped, or something that's all of one piece. So you don't have to do that. That's,
Instead of one piece of rectangle and then the other one.
yeah, yeah,
I think that's what she's.
yeah. I want something sleek, but I just was curious. They may not make that. It may not work. I just wanted to ask. I really like that you guys, that they're making each street the same because as I drive down that street to go to Victoria Park once a week, it's really hard to tell where the streets are. You see driveway, and you can't tell when it's a street. And the last question, well, I don't get to that because I know you discussed the Rotary, when I wasn't here, but do you really need, that's a rotary that if you're going 10 miles an hour through it, you're probably going at the max. Do you really need stop signs at the feeder streets to the rotary? Is it because it's so close together that you kind of need to have the stop signs to avoid accidents with yielding?
Yeah, I think that's more of it. It's not that the stop signs at that point are moot for, again, they're a traffic control device, not a speed device, but at that point it's moot because you're going so slow anyway. But when you get there, trying to figure out who gets
Got
to
it.
go when.
Because they're very close together as opposed to, okay, thank you. That's it. My question.
Okay.
What
Questions
about
on this side? Yep.
on the Toyon Drive, are those, which one is the new stop sign? Are they all new?
Through chair, no, at Toyon right now, this is currently this is an existing always stop.
It is, okay.
The only new one is at Oak Grove.
Oh, at Oak Grove, okay. Thank you, I got confused. All right.
Commissioner Brown, yeah.
So this is great, by the way.
Yeah.
I drive this road every day.
Put
Walk
it
the
along.
dog down here every day, or almost every day. Couple things. So in this new roundabout, where you're going on Oak Grove and Bloomfield, is it landscaped at all? Because there's one on Morel that is, if you come off of Rollins Road, turn left on, I believe it's Morel, it goes through the neighborhood and
Larkspur Linden.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it a little more, like,
Neighborhoody.
yeah, it looks versus just being a big thing in the middle of the road. That was my one question. If that could happen, that would be great because then it would give some real. And then my only other thing is we only added one all-way stop, or I guess we call it all-way stop. I'm still concerned about northbound traffic coming around the corner of Humboldt, which is that first entrance onto Rollins Road in Burrow. Because it's blind coming around the corner on Humboldt. So you can see where Humboldt angles into the road.
Yeah.
You're coming down that corner. It's blind on the right-hand side right there where there's a building. So it'd be great if there was a stop there. You did say that, I think that Oak Grove was the middle between Broadway and
Humboldt.
Humboldt might be considered for at least something to start that traffic flow to slow down as we're going, northbound. And those would be my only questions.
Through chair, so we can see what's left, but we could also, for the landscaping in the center, but we can also look at that as a future project.
Okay.
This one here at Humboldt, and maybe it's just my luck today, but that's another jurisdictional. We share that with San Mateo, but we will bring it up at one of our future meetings, talking about if there's something. Yeah, we can discuss, have a discussion on that.
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
It is blind.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
difficult out there.
Okay.
I like the design, Mr. Wong. I would just maybe poke a little bit more at what Commissioner Israel had said, so that B item, it's not, we're not really used in a crosswalk. I mean, I know the example you showed, it's used in a crosswalk, but where we have the B items, we're not really, there's no crosswalk there. So can't we just extend the A item to the length of the A plus B?
We can discuss it with them.
Yeah,
We'll discuss with the team.
yeah, okay.
Looks so much better.
I think it would even be more effective, yeah,
There wouldn't be like little
yeah,
corners to catch leaves and stuff.
yeah.
Oh, like, don't they make a torpedo shaped one? You know, like.
We'll see if there's any other option, but another reason might be in order to, if they were to physically push the median island out there, the emergency vehicle, maybe that might,
Couldn't make that turn.
they need to be able to mount that section. I just,
The beads.
they need to go over the bead
Okay.
potentially, because going over the island, that is a 6-inch rubber island. So,
Okay.
but we can confirm that, but
Okay,
they can extend it. Yeah.
yeah, now that I would accept for the emergency vehicles, okay. All right, so public comment? Nothing in email, and did you want to comment on this project? Yeah, please step up. If you don't mind, give us your name and maybe your address.
Yeah, my name is Zach Roslin. I'm at 421 Concord Way, which is
Okay,
kind of on
kind of,
near like Dwight and Rollins. So yeah, I do this a lot, walking and driving. And I think the speed diet is great. I think slower cars is great. A lot of these turns are very blind. And so I'm very okay with removing parking spaces, which I think is a minority based on the feedback that was gotten earlier. I think like the daylighting law, I think is much needed in this area where I'm just kind of crossing my fingers as I turn onto Rollins sometimes.
Yeah.
I also am a big fan of the traffic circle at California. So I think that type of stuff is great. And so I like what I saw here. I got one more thing. I also had the same question about, which was answered about why you need a full stop at the Oak Grove, but I think that was answered. And I think that's a great spot for a stop sign if there's one anywhere, especially with the high school there and the young drivers. So I think if there's a spot where people need to go as slow as possible, I think that's a good spot for it.
all right, thank you, appreciate that.
Thank
Yep. All right, anything else? If not, we'll move on. Somebody want to make a motion on this project?
Through the chair, one
Yep,
clarification before
sure.
the motion is made as far as right there. That you would, looking at the bulb out here, if you keep this as is or including the motion, if you accept everything as is or any changes, but we just want to note on this one because this is one you had commented on that we had put it back in.
Right,
So
right. Okay, so everybody good with that? Okay, no objections. Is there a motion for the project?
I move that we pass the South Rollins Road project as presented.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Very good. Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Brown, seconded by Vice Chair Johnson. Mr. Wu, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner French,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Israelit,
Aye.
Vice Chair Johnson,
Aye.
Chair Martos.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Very good, Mr. Wong, and
I'll let Mr. Yang know.
yep, Mr. Yang, no. All right, we will move on to informational items. Is there any public comment for informational? Okay, any group updates, community group updates? No. Oh, so we'll move on to Sergeant Orloff, Police Department reports.
Good evening, Chair Martos. The month of June, we had 10 total crashes to report. As always, hit and run crashes caused by DUI, filtered out, do not appear in this month's report. For the month of June, 4 crashes involved a vehicle vehicle. 3 crashes were fixed object. Unfortunately, 3 crashes were involved with pedestrians, and out of all the crashes, 5 of them resulted in minor injuries, and 1 resulting in major injuries. The crash factors associated to the reported collisions this month were failure to yield to pedestrians, right-of-way violations, safe speed, failure to stop at a red light, and unsafe turning movements. Any questions about any particular incident that appears on the report if you have them?
None from me, but just a comment. I feel like 10's the lowest number of accidents that's been on this list for my joint
Yeah.
commissions.
Yeah.
Something's starting to work.
Did notice that as well.
Yep.
And yeah, it's obviously we prefer 0, but
Right.
Yeah.
less is better. Less is better.
Can we hear about the pedestrian with the more major injury at Truesdale?
Yeah, it was an early evening collision right there. Pedestrian was crossing southbound, I believe, and a vehicle had been traveling north and turning left. Attention was diverted to oncoming traffic, and then, figured that was clear and proceeded to turn without seeing the pedestrian, unfortunately striking the pedestrian. Could have been worse. It did result in a major injury. I think the extent of the injuries were suturing, so it wasn't anything worse than that. Not to say that that's per our definition, any injury requiring classified as a major injury. I believe the pedestrian might have been going north. So one of these situations where they see them, figure they might stop, looking at oncoming traffic, and once that's clear, go to turn. Don't see it in time.
Yeah. And which intersection was that? I'm not familiar with one.
I'm sorry.
11.
California and Truesdale.
California.
Oh, it's California.
Okay.
I was looking for that too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the police
Just
station.
saying.
Right by the police station.
Uh-huh. That's right by the police station.
We didn't have to go far.
So did the driver have sun in their eyes? That was
I don't,
4:30. Sun was kind of on
Yeah.
that side of the
I don't
sky.
think was stated.
Okay.
In support of that,
Okay.
patient of that necessarily. I think it was just general inattention towards oncoming traffic,
Okay.
executing a turn and not having enough reaction time.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Can I also ask
Yeah.
about the other pedestrian one at Hillside in Cabrillo? Isn't that where we just put in,
Mm-mm.
Commissioner Johnson? Did we put the crosswalk in at Cabrillo or Carlos?
Carlos.
We did.
Carlos.
Okay, Carlos, okay. But can I ask about the Cabrillo one?
Yeah, sure. It was a situation eerily similar to one we had several months prior, where a pedestrian was on the southeast portion of that intersection and proceeding north in that eastern crosswalk as the vehicle was coming south, attempting to turn left eastbound onto Hillside Drive. And this was kind of a weird one because it was late report. I think the vehicle drove past and per the pedestrian just like sideswiped the pedestrian, which caused the complaint of pain. Fortunately, nothing worse. In contacting the other party, it was the driver of the vehicle. It was like, I didn't think I hit the person. I thought the person just kind of slammed my car as I drove by because they were upset that I got too close. It was like a close call type situation. So, but nonetheless, a driver failing to yield to a pedestrian. Luckily, with not worse consequences. And the pedestrian had the right of way.
Thank you. Yeah, I just saw that it was at 8:25 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking, I don't know when school got out, the elementary school, so I just, they already out of school in early June.
June 4th. It probably in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that,
It wasn't a child though.
no.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Sergeant Orloff. Appreciate it. Any communication for any commissioners? Anybody?
I just had one with the Dwight project where I met one of the residents and they were all happy that night with the outcome, but because it hadn't started, there was a complaint.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do we have a date? for starting the Dwight Peninsula intersection?
Not as yet.
Not yet? That's too bad. Okay. Any other commissioner communications? No? All right, we'll go on to committee reports. Anything from public on committee reports? Nope. All right. Boy, this is the number of committees. Yeah, look at that. One, Broadway parking. Commissioner Johnson, Vice Chair Johnson, Commissioner French.
Not yet, no.
Nothing. Okay. All right. And I think we're coming to the end, Mr. Wong. So future agenda items for August. Boy, we're looking at August now.
Yeah.
Couple stop signs we may look at, maybe North Rollins, and maybe take another look at the California Drive Phase 2, which is between Oak Grove and Burlingame Avenue. Again, I'll be checking with, and then the resurfacing will give you, Mr. Wu will probably present the streets that are on the 2027 resurfacing project to see if you guys have any comments on those streets.
Okay. Okay.
But
I did have a communication.
Yeah. Oh,
Too late.
that's all right. We'll go back. All right.
Super quick.
Yeah.
Mr. Wong, I'm still hearing complaints about the resurfacing project. Reminded me of it, where signs are posted that you can't park from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and no one shows up all day. So that happened again today on my street, and I got an earful from multiple neighbors that parked blocks away, and then no one showed up all day. So they need to narrow their windows.
we will let them know. All the parties in here are involved with that, so we'll forward it to them.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Director Lamb, thank you for being here. Appreciate your attendance. All right. Nothing else. Meeting adjourned.
I'm just curious why we do have